Hi friends, welcome to our channel Indus Educare, and today we are going to see the MCQs on Indian Penal Code 1860. So let's start. The first is the motive under section 81 of IPC should be option A, prevention of harm to person, option B, prevention of harm to property, option C, both option A and option B, and option D is either A or B. And the correct option is option D, either A or B. Next, impunity as an exception has been provided under option A, section 80, option B, section 81, option C, section 82, and option D, section 84. And the correct option is option C, section 82. Section 82 of IPC provides that nothing is an offence which is done by a child under option A, 6 years of age, option B, 7 years of age, option C, 9 years of age, and option D, 10 years of age. And the correct option is option B, 7 years of age. Next, section 82 of IPC enunciates option A, a presumption of fact, option B, a rebuttable presumption of law, option C, a conclusive or irrebuttable presumption of law, and option D, none of the above. The correct option is option C. Let's see the next. A person is stated to be partially incapacitated under section 83 of IPC if he is aged option A, above 7 years and under 12 years, option B, above 7 years and under 10 years, option C, above 7 years and under 16 years, and option D, above 7 years and under 18 years. The correct option is option A, above 7 years and under 12 years. Next, section 83 of IPC lays down option A, a presumption of fact, option B, an inconclusive or rebuttable presumption of law, option C, conclusive or irrebuttable presumption of law, and option D, irrebuttable presumption of fact. The correct option is option B, an inconclusive or rebuttable presumption of law. The next, section 82 of IPC lays down the rule of option A, wholly incapacitated, option B, partially incapacitated, option C, both option A and B, and option D is either option A or B. The correct answer is option A, wholly incapacitated. Next, under section 82 and section 83 of IPC, an offence is punishable if it is done by a child option A, of below 7 years of age, option B, of above 7 years of age but below 12 years if he has not attained sufficient maturity and understanding, option C, of above 7 years of age but below 12 years having attained sufficient maturity and understanding, and option D is all the above. And the correct option is option C, of above 7 years of age but below 12 years having attained sufficient maturity and understanding. Next, when did the Indian Penal Code receive the Governor General's assent? Option A, October 3 of 1850, option B, October 5, 1852, option C, October 6 of 1860, and option D is October 7, 1865. And the correct option is Option C, October 6 of 1860. Next, wrongful confinement in secret is still under option A, section 344 of IPC, option B, section 345 of IPC, option C, section 346 of IPC, and option D is section 347 of IPC. And the correct answer is option C. Next, after the submission of a draft of the Indian Penal Code in 1837, who reviewed the draft code? Option A, Sri Bands Peacock. Option B, Sri Rajgopalachari. Option C, Sir J.W. Coville. And option D is both option A and option C. The correct answer is option D, both option A and option C. Next, the right to prosecution under the Indian Penal Code. Option A is affected by the provisions of other statutes. Option B is not affected by the provisions of the other statutes. Option C is not applicable under the provisions of the Companies Act. And option D is not applicable in the areas of Mikir Hills. The correct option is option B, is not affected by the provisions of the other statutes. Next, intercourse by a man with his wife during separation is dealt under option A, section 374A of IPC, option B, section 375A of IPC, option C, section 376A of IPC, and option D is section 377A of IPC. The correct option is option C, section 376A of IPC. Next, all are true except one concerning the duty of the code in regard to the interpretation of the words of ambiguous import in a penal statute. Option A, the court must ascertain if the offence charged is within the meaning of the words of the statute. Option B, if the only reasonable way of construing a penal statute without stretching its legal language is one which goes against the accused, then it must be fully upheld in its entirety. Option C, it is the duty of the court to interpret words of ambiguous import in a broad and liberal sense. And option D is, in case of penal statute is uncertain or ambiguous or at capable of two interpretations, the benefit of the ambiguity should go to the accused. The correct option is option B. Next, intercourse by public servant with woman in his custody is dealt under option A, section 373B of IPC, option B, section 374B of IPC, option C, section 375B of IPC, and option D is section 376B of IPC. The correct option is option D, section 376B of IPC. Next, extortion by threat of accusation of an offence punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for 10 years is dealt under option A, section 385 of IPC, option B, section 386 of IPC, option C, section 387 of IPC, and option D is section 388 of IPC. And the correct option is option D, section 388 of IPC. Next, mens rea involves option A, crimes of basic intent, Option B, crimes of speculative intent. Option C, crimes of specific intent. And option D is both option A and option C. And the answer is option D, both option A and C. Next, fraudulent removal or concealment of property, etc., to prevent distribution among creditors is dealt under option A, section 421 of IPC. Option B, section 422 of IPC. Option C, section 423 of IPC. And option D is section 424 of IPC. The correct option is option A, section 421 of IPC. Next, assisting concealment or disposal of stolen property, knowing it to be stolen, is dealt under option A, section 411 of IPC. Option B, section 412 of IPC. Option C, section 413 of IPC. And option D, section 414 of IPC. The correct option is option D, section 414 of IPC. Next, all except one is false statement about the legal means rea. Option A, it refers to mental element necessary for the particular crime. Option B, the mental element may be either intention to do the immediate act or bring about the consequences. Option C, intention or recklessness as to the elements constituting the actus reus. And option D is intention can always be satisfactorily defined. And the correct option is option D. Next, mischief is dealt under option A, section 426 of IPC. Option B, section 427 of IPC. Option C, section 428 of IPC. And option D is section 429 of IPC. The correct option is option A, section 426 of IPC. Next, to which of the following the law of presumption applies? Option A, volunti non fit injuria. Option B, mens rea. Option C, de minimis non curat lex. And option D, none of them. And the correct option is option B, mens rea. Next, what is the position of the mens rea in its purely technical sense for the offences under the Indian Penal Code? Option A, it holds the same position as it does under the English criminal law. Option B, it has no application. Option C, it has indirect application. And option D is both option B and option C. And the correct option is option D, both B and C. Next, lurking house-trespass or housebreaking is dealt under option A, section 452 of IPC. Option B, section 453 of IPC. Option C, section 454 of IPC. And option D is section 455 of IPC. And the correct option is option B, section 453 of IPC. Next, punishment for subjecting the married woman to cruelty is dealt under option A, section 497 of IPC. Option B, section 498 of IPC. Option C, section 498A of IPC. And option D, section 500 of IPC. The correct option is option C, section 498A of IPC. Next, which of the following is a type of legal fault that necessarily does not involve a mental state? Option A, negligence. Option B, intention. Option C, both option A and option B. And option D is none of them. The correct option is option A, negligence. Next, which of the following introduced section 10C of the IPC? Option A, Amendment Act 10 of 1972. Option B, Amendment Act 30 of 1974. Option C, Amendment Act 40 of 1976. And option D is Amendment Act 42 of 1980. The correct option is option B, Amendment Act 30 of 1974. Next, presumption of culpable mental state is part of option A, section 7C of the IPC. Option B, section 8C of the IPC. Option C, section 9C of the IPC. And option D is section 10C of the IPC. The correct option is option D, section 10C of the IPC. Next, death or grievous hurt caused by one of several persons jointly concerned in housebreaking by night, etc. is still under option A, section 458 of IPC. Option B, section 459 of IPC. Option C, section 460 of IPC. And option D is section 461 of IPC. And the correct option is option C, section 460 of IPC. Next, section 10C was used in which of the following cases? Option A, Devki vs. State, Kerala 2000. Option B, Devmani vs. State, Madras 1983. Option C, Devraj vs. State of Punjab 1992. And option D, Devilal vs. State, Delhi Administration 1986. And the correct option is option B, Devmani vs. State, Madras 1983. Next, a man by deceit causing a woman not lawfully married to him to believe that she is lawfully married to him and to cohibit with him in that behalf is still under option A, section 493 of IPC. Option B, section 494 of IPC. Option C, section 495 of IPC. And option D is section 496 of IPC. The correct option is option A, section 493 of IPC. Next, all except one is false of the crimes that do not require legal fault on the part of the accused. Option A, quasi-criminal cases which are prohibited in public interest under a penalty. Option B, cases of public nuisance, libel and contempt of court. Option C, cases with criminal proceedings but is a mode of enforcing a civil right. Option D is cases of domestic violence. And the correct option is option D, cases of domestic violence. Next, in which of the following conditions a corporation can be prosecuted? Option A, if it is a person under section 10 of the Penal Code. Option B, if it is a person under section 11 of the Penal Code. Option C, if it is a person under section 12 of the Penal Code. And option D is if it is a person under section 14 of the Penal Code. The correct option is option B, if it is a person under section 11 of the Penal Code. Next, the maxim of law impontia excusat legam is intimately connected with which maxim of law? Option A, lex cogit ad impossibilis. Option B, lex non ad impossibilis. Option C, lex non cogit ad impossibilis. And option D is lex actus reus impossibilis. And the correct option is option C, lex non cogit ad impossibilis. Next, two brothers sleeping on the floor of a room. The victim was stunned to death admittedly by the accused around midnight with a dove when the victim was in the deep slumber. The defense stated that the accused in his dream was being throttled by someone, so he took out the dove, kept the head of the bed to apprehend his attacker. However, the dove hit his brother and killed him. Option A, the accused must be convicted under criminal liability. Option B, the accused must be absolved from criminal liability. Option C, it is a case of automatism. Option D is both option B and option C. The correct option is option D, both B and C. Next, marrying again during the lifetime of a husband or wife is dealt under option A, section 493 of IPC. Option B, section 494 of IPC. Option C, section 495 of IPC. And option D is section 496 of IPC. And the correct option is option B, section 494 of IPC. Let's see the next. Making or counterfeiting a seal, plate, etc. with intent to commit a forgery punishable otherwise than under section 467 of Indian Penal Code, or processing with like intent any such seal, plate, etc. knowing the same to be counterfeit is dealt under option A, section 471 of IPC. Option B, section 472 of IPC. Option C, section 473 of IPC. And option D is section 474 of IPC. The correct option is option C, section 473 of IPC. In case same set of facts attracts civil suit and also criminal trial, what should be done? Option A, the civil suit should be stayed. Option B, the criminal case should be stayed. Option C, the civil suit should be quashed. And option D is both should be simultaneously carried out. The correct option is option A, the civil suit should be stayed. Next, act caused by inducing a person to believe that he will be rendered an object of divine displeasure is dealt under option A, section 506 of IPC. Option B, section 507 of IPC. Option C, section 508 of IPC. And option D is section 509 of IPC. And the correct option is section 508 of IPC. Let's see the next. Which of the following is a fundamental maxim of natural justice? Option A, audi alteram partem. Option B, nullum tempus occurret regi. Option C, memo debet esse judex in propria causa sua. And option D is both option A and option C. The correct option is option D, both option A and option C. Next, as far as complaints are concerned, at which of the following stage summons are issued? Option A is section 202 of CRPC. Option B, section 203 of CRPC. Option C, section 204 of CRPC. And option D is both option A and option C. The correct option is option C, section 204 of CRPC. Next, X was accused of criminal offence by Y and the case pended on for 12 years, during which not a single witness was produced by the prosecution. Which of the following article of the Constitution of India in this case was violated? Option A, Article 12, Constitution of India. Option B, Article 15, Constitution of India. Option C, Article 21, Constitution of India. And option D is Article 25 of Constitution of India. The correct option is option C, Article 21 of Constitution of India. Next, criminal intimidation is dealt under option A, section 506 of IPC. Option B, section 507 of IPC. Option C, section 508 of IPC. And option D is section 509 of IPC. The correct option is option A, section 506 of IPC. Next, House-trespass in order to the commission of an offence punishable with imprisonment for life is dealt under option A, section 448 of IPC. Option B, section 449 of IPC. Option C, section 450 of IPC. And option D is section 451 of IPC. The correct option is option C, section 450 of IPC. Next, in a certain case in the High Court, an advocate made a complaint against A sub-inspector of police, that A, in course of investigation of the few cases against F in official capacity, oppressed him in the exercise of his official capacity, which was offence under section 124 Government of India Act 1910. Option A, the High Court have the jurisdiction to summon and punish the delinquent. Option B, the High Court does not have the jurisdiction to summon and punish the delinquent. Option C, the High Court have the jurisdiction only to summon the delinquent. And option D is none of them. The correct option is option B, the High Court does not have the jurisdiction to summon and punish the delinquent. Next, which of the following are always exempted from the jurisdiction of criminal courts of every country? Option A, foreign sovereign and ambassadors. Option B, alien enemies, foreign army and warships. Option C, presidents and governors. And option D, all of them. The correct answer is option D, all of them. Next, mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe a decked vessel or a vessel of 20 tons burden is dealt under option A, section 434 of IPC. Option B, section 435 of IPC. Option C, section 436 of IPC. And option D is section 437 of IPC. The correct option is option D, section 437 of IPC. Next, which of the following sections of IPC relate to extraterritorial operations of the code? Option A, section 2 and section 3. Option B, section 3 and section 4. Option C, section 2 and section 3. Option D, section 2 and section 4. The correct option is option B, section 3 and section 4. Let's see the next. Kidnapping for ransom, etc. is dealt under option A, section 361A of IPC. Option B, section 362A of IPC. Option C, section 363A of IPC. And option D, section 364A of IPC. The correct option is option D, section 364A of IPC. Next and last, to which of the following sections does the section 4 of the IPC applies? Option A, any citizen of India in any place without and beyond India. Option B, any person on ship or aircraft registered India wherever it may be. Option C, both of option A and option B, and option D is none of them. The correct option is option C, both option A and option B. Friends, today I have finished 50 MCQs on IPC. I would like to suggest to check your guessed answers with the correct options. Friends, write your doubts and suggestions in the comment box. In the next video, we will see the MCQs on the Constitution of India.